US shoppers have spent big on Black Friday sales despite inflation, a softer job market and tariffs hitting prices. Garth Bray, Business Desk, has the details. Garth, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
What do you know?
Well, you'd have to think that if this is any kind of indication for the sort of numbers that we're going to see out of our own rather more humble Black Friday, that people will be licking their lips because they broke another record according to various stats that you see out of MasterCard's Spending Pulse or Adobe Analytics, who both kind of track this sort of stuff. Anywhere between 9 and 10% lift in online sales, which is pretty huge, right? 11.8 billion, that's 20 billion of our dollars, in online purchases on Friday in the US. And 6.4 billion US, that's about 11 billion of our dollars, on Thanksgiving, which is the Thursday. This is, I guess, this Black Friday thing emerged as like the shopping day that you do on the Friday when you're full of turkey and all that kind of stuff. And
now it's just spreading.
It's rather like people after have had turkey.
Wastelands. And is the increase in addition to increases in bricks and mortar stores, or is it all? The
bricks and mortar, I think, sure, a smaller increase. I think the numbers we saw there were up about 1.7%.
Okay, so but still up.
It's a big online, and this is interesting. I mean, they've just come out of the longest federal shutdown in US history. There's a bit of a cloud hanging over the jobs market. They've got, various kind of heavy weather, that heavy discounting, I think, was the answer to your woes, and I guess they're still saying that the Christmas season or the shopping season from November 1 through to December 31 is how they measure it. They still reckon they're on track to crack $1 trillion worth of spending in that period.
Okay, a lot of money.
Here we go, yeah.
Now, Anzac frigates, we're going to replace them with British made?
Well,
Japanese made? What are we thinking?
Do we buy British or we buy Japanese? This is one for the great car buyers, isn't it? So you've had the US Minister of State, Chris Bryant, who's a pretty established kind of a figure in the UK government. Did I say US? Chris Bryant, he's a Labour Minister of State, and he was down here for some talks in Melbourne, I think, around the what used to be called the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and just popped in to sort of give the hard sell to Babcock, which is a UK company that's got contracts to do all kinds of stuff on bases. They're bidding for the rights to do, with probably we hear about a half a dozen others, a dry dock up in Whangarei at the port there. And he's saying, oh, look, it really only makes sense if you also buy our amazing Arrowhead frigates, which would be just, look, they'd look absolutely mint side by side down there as a replacement. You could get going with this early. Defence Force is telling our team, no, look, there's no hard link between those two projects, so good try, mate. And probably against that, the Aussies apparently have just contracted with Mitsubishi Heavy Industries out of Japan to buy their version of the frigates. And we've got this interoperability thing where we parts deals, everybody knows where everything is.
No point us having a British ship if they've got a Japanese one.
Unless the deal is good.
Yeah, true. Which it probably wouldn't, I mean... But look at British manufacturing, how expensive that would be. Yeah. I don't imagine it's going to be cheaper than...
Bet the seats would be nice, though.
Yeah, true. They'd be nice leather. Right, new investigative series looks behind... This is Du Val. We're speaking to Maria Slade from Business Desk later on the show.
Oh, well, I can leave then.
No. Please tell us. Please tell us, because this is as part of your segment, but it's a new podcast.
Yeah, I guess this is the Du Val property company, which I think probably more people than usual would have heard about, because they were put into statutory management last year and remain there. And that's basically where the government takes control of your company, which is super extreme. We've talked about them on the show before. It's this long-running kind of series of court cases around what they have to do, who can talk to who and so on, that are still being sort of unwound. And as yet, no charges against any of the people involved for anything, which is a point of contention for the people that ran the place, saying, oh gosh, you've taken our company and look what you've done with it. Regular sort of 6-monthly reports from the regulators saying, or rather from the receivers saying, no, things are not looking great. But I guess what we're finding out here, some really interesting insights, I guess, hearing a lot about sort of a bit of a boiler room culture or a hard sell culture that was there to try and really push investments in property on people that arguably, they're saying, the people that have spoken in this podcast weren't really able to afford that kind of stuff. And I just felt it was really interesting too, because it's about, listening to the first episode this morning that dropped, it's about more than just a company. It's actually about our Kiwi love of investment property and whether we're on the right track and whether we've maybe just swallowed that a little bit too hard.
All right, Garth, thank you. Garth Bray, Business Desk.